we are here at the Lane Motor Museum, checking out their Kei Car collection, the OK series here. And we're gonna just go through each one of these cars kind of one by one, showing you all the cool stuff about these. So first off here, I've got my friend Adrian with me. Say hi, Adrian.
What's up, guys?
We're gonna be talking to each other about these cars and kind of just riffing off each other a little bit and kind of seeing what we can get into here today. So we're gonna start off with this car that we're looking at here. It's a really unique example of a Kei car. It's a AutoZam AZ1. Now the AutoZam AZ1 was also produced as the Mazda AZ1 or the Mazda AutoZam and also the Suzuki Kara, but they're all basically the same body and they all have these really unique gull wing doors. Also, the engine in the back is a turbocharged 660cc engine, making about like 64 horsepower or so. And that's going to be a very common trend with these cars. So not only this car here, but all of these that we're going to take a look at here today all have engines under 660 cc's per the Kei Car regulations in Japan. So what is a Kei Car? Basically, any car that's made within certain specifications. So like, I believe it's 11 feet, 2 inches, something like that long or shorter, as well as height restrictions to about 6 feet or shorter. And the engines can be no larger than 660 cc's and produce no more than 64 horsepower. So again, going back to this AutoZam right here, it meets those criteria, but it does not exceed them, so it can be classified as a Kei Car. What that meant for Japanese manufacturers back in the day was tax breaks and incentives, and also for consumers as well. It also means that you can dodge Japanese parking decals that you have to pay for city parking over in Japan as well. So it's cheaper to own for most people, not just this, but all of these that we're going to take a look at. So let's start with this one here as well. This is the Suzuki Alto Works. The Suzuki Alto, the Works edition here. It's kind of the beefed up, hyped up, like hot hatch essentially of this particular generation. You can see it's got the spoiler going on right here. A lot of these cars feature the pop out windows you can see right here. And just really cool body shape overall. Also the same style turbocharged 3-cylinder engine under the hood, making roughly 64 horsepower. And just take a look at the inside of this thing. It's absolutely gorgeous in here. All factory stuff in here. You can actually see the IE Works decals on here. I'll try to get a close-up of that later. And then the graphics down the side, very period correct, very 90s. Really love this car. And one of my favorite features about some of these cars, especially the turbocharged ones, they've got this bulge in the hood here with the intake scoop for it as well. I believe the intercooler sits up there. Is that correct?
Yeah,
yes.
Both of these, they sit up there.
So both of these cars here, including this, which is a Minica Dangan, right? This is a
Dangan in Japanese means bullet.
Bullet. Okay, well, it's silver. It definitely reminds me of a bullet. It's got the sporty red styling down the sides. It's really cool. Let's just take a closer look. I've actually never seen one of these before. You called it Dangan, right? So I called it Dangan. I don't know which one is like super popular or right. I'm sure I'm gonna get told in the comments. But the blue interior on the front and then the like dark gray / black on the back of it is really unique. And all these cars are only so big. Let me go to the other side so we can see a little bit more of the driver's side. Again, on the way around, huge spoiler on the back. Really goes to show, like, this was marketed as the sporty model, just like the Alto Works over here too. Man, what is this, ZZ4? Is that what that says right there?
I believe it's a 4-wheel drive.
Oh, okay, so 4-wheel drive. Well, let's take a look at the sign here. So the thing at the Lane is that they have all of these signs to where, like, if I get stumped, you get stumped, or whoever, you can actually read more about this here. So this is, take a look right there. That's exactly what it is. Front engine, 4-wheel drive. Again, 549cc, 3-cylinder, making 64 horsepower. So this one's actually meeting the cc requirement pretty well, man. Like, it's actually fairly underneath that. And like, it's very common for these 90s cars to have all of their specs listed on the side. 5 valves per cylinder. So this is a 15-valve engine. What? When was the last time you heard of a 15-valve engine? what in the world? Anyway, one of my favorite design features on this car is the gauge cluster. It looks like binoculars. It's just these huge circles that go all the way around it here. And like the circle theme continues, like it's a very round car. So you got the round air vents to go with it. And just everything about this car. Look at the door handles. They're actually like, they're at an angle.
One of the unique features of the Mini, because all Minis have weird angled
really
door handles like that, yeah.
And you see the dangin' body kit here, double overhead cam, 5-valve intercooled turbo, just to remind you of what you're looking at here. Really cool stuff. Moving on to something that a lot of you guys probably know a lot about. This is a Honda Beat. Again, 3-cylinder. This one is not turbocharged like the previous cars that we've seen. This one's naturally aspirated and makes about 60 or so horsepower through ITBs, the individual throttle bodies that lie underneath here. And then this one has this is modified, red and black interior with the matching red and black wheel, and all of these came with manual transmissions. You could not get a Beat with a automatic transmission, kind of how it should be on a sports car like this. And one of my favorite features of these Beats, take a look at the wheels. They're like phone dials. They look really, really good. I believe the Z-Pack cars came with the phone dials. I could be 100% wrong, but the Z-Pack was a certain package that you could get on those cars. Now, this S660,
Essentially the reincarnation of a Beat.
which is probably why they have them parked next to each other here. Yeah, the reincarnation of the Beat, the S660. This is a modern day Kei car. And no, you cannot get these in the United States, but this is here in the collection. It's really cool. I love the rear haunches and the roll. Just like, oh man, everything about this car right here is so cool. Oh, no way. I didn't even notice that.
Brake lights right there.
Man, that's a huge third brake light. Wow, I love that. Just like,
Center exit exhaust.
take a look. It's very NSX, like the new version NSX back here.
Yeah, a lot of people know these things, or refer to them as the baby NSX, but it's really, really just a reincarnation of a Beat.
And the interior, very modern Honda. Like that steering wheel looks like just a shrunk down Accord from like 2015 style wheel right there. That's really cool. And looking at the seats, look at the heavy bolsters in there. Like, man, this thing is so unique and so cool. I love it. And then the wheels, what's common is you'll find a lot of older Kei cars like this Beat right here come with these wheels right here, and vans too, actually. Matter of fact, let's go look at some Kei vans. So as some of you might know, I have a Honda Step Wagon. This is basically the baby sibling that came way before. This is a Honda Life van. Adrian, what do you know about these Life vans?
Honda Life was a car sold as a van and as more of a small hatchback, and this was basically Honda's first tiny van. And in Japan, I believe they refer to these as a step wagon. It's 2 words, and then that's how the modern Honda step wagon came. But not a whole lot to it. Just a tiny, no frills little van, and the dashboard is my favorite part of it.
Oh, really?
It's like it's just like a big tray. It's completely different than any dashboard.
No.
With a nice big ashtray up top. 4-speed manual.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to these. It's just a basic tiny little van. Someone's added some rear speakers on this, but that would not be original.
Wow, you could totally like write a novel on here. It's just like a little flat dash.
And different, like from the Kei cars that you just seen. Kei cars of this era had an engine limit of 360 cc's, so this has a 360 cc engine instead of a 660 cc.
Making like 30 horsepower. Yeah, that's crazy. 30 horsepower, something like this. That's absolutely insane. And sticking with the older theme, let's go take a look at some of these. So these are some more original, early style Honda Kei cars, and this is like a service van, the LN360. I actually don't know too much about this, so I'm just going to read off of here. This is basically a light van, similar in idea and design to a Morris Mini. And if you guys are familiar with the Morris Mini, a lot of people play the Forza Horizon series, Forza Motorsport series. You can actually drive that car in the game, and I believe they came wood paneled as well, which is cool. So this kind of just riffed off of that idea, and Honda made it into their own thing. And it's got a air-cooled 354cc, so sticking under 360cc twin cylinder, making 31 horsepower. So it's basically that is also the same as this, but just in a smaller package. But I can't imagine 30 horsepower would be that peppy.
This panel van version is quite rare, and so this is what eventually became the Civic, and so this is what we were able to get in the US. This is also available in Japan as the N360, but this is a US spec one. That's an N600, as there's no engine limit on that in the US, and you can see the US large bumpers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this has a 600cc engine. But this particular body of the water tank was never available in the US, even though the front ends are basically the same.
So this one falls under the 660cc engine limit on this one. 45 horsepower, a little bit more peppy. Again, very basic on the inside, but it gets the job done. I love the little Honda logos. I think these have been reupholstered at some point in their life, but still a really cool car, this N600 right here. And then, of course, moving on to this. Oh my goodness. This is a Honda N1. Again, much like the S660 over here, the N1 is not a car that is legal for importation into the US quite yet. There's still quite a while to go. As a matter of fact, this is a 2014 year model. It takes 25 years to get one of these road legal under normal circumstances. Again, we are here in a museum collection, so special circumstances can apply. This one actually has a CVT in it, which is super unique. Honda actually made CVT transmissions as early as the 90s, I believe. They had CVTs in the Civics.
A few other different smaller models.
The HRV as well, with a single overhead cam. But yeah, this is just, it's so cool. It's just like a modern day Kei car. And what's really interesting is, like, take a look at the size and the limitations that is on this older model. And as you kind of go through the iterations, you can see this one's actually fairly large here. Adrian, would you mind standing next to it for comparison?
About 5'8".
5'8", and that's about how big the car is here. I mean, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. And having experienced other four-door Kei cars of the 90s, this is a far cry from that. This is much larger, much more comfortable, much more modern, much more capable.
It's got the DVD option package. We were talking to Chris, who spec'd this car out and brought it over here to the museum. It's absolutely a beautiful car. The luxury package, or whatever, is it the premium? It's the premier premium. Yeah, it literally says premium on the back. This thing is so unique. And again, you can only find this here at the Lane Motor Museum, which is like really interesting. Moving on to some older, we got some Subarus here, near and dear to my heart. These are actually cars that you could have found in the US. Matter of fact, as you've probably seen most of the things we've looked at so far, I think all of them actually have been right-hand drive. This one's left-hand drive. This is a US style spec car. And that engine is actually over the rear axles here. On a Kei truck from Japan, normally like from the 80s and 90s, engine will be somewhere right here, little access panel.
The Subarus from the 90s actually had it literally under the rear bumper.
That is crazy. That's also true, like the sandbar that you brought over that one time. And then we've got a 360 van next to a 360 right here. I believe it's a 360 Deluxe. So these two are basically based on the same platform here. You could get it in a van, or you could get it in a little cute little car. Let's see.
This is actually an air-cooled drum brake. So this is the brake, and see the wheel is actually a very small part of this, but this is all just brake.
That is insane.
That's why it has all these heat fins.
I just learned something about this. That is a crazy design detail. Another crazy design detail is the air conditioning, which there's no real AC, but you can literally see up into the passenger area on this one through the front. So it's like ram air conditioning on that. I've wanted one of these vans for a very long time. It is still on my bucket list to own one of these. Ever since I saw one that was slammed to the ground and super modified, I was like, I have to have one of those vans. It's so cool. And the 360s are also very popular here in the US. So they're absolutely wonderful. You can find these typically on like Craigslist and whatnot pretty easily. Now, the last car we're going to showcase here from this collection here today is the Today. It is a Honda Today, and Adrian here actually owns a Honda Today. It was the first car he ever imported into the United States. So Adrian, tell us a little bit about what makes this one in particular special.
Okay, so this is the first edition, and basically the first edition is what you can tell them apart right away because the round headlights. My version, the one I have, is the same chassis, same square body, but it has a square headlight setup, much more similar to a Civic. And these early ones, this is an 86 model, the one I have is a 92 model. This is a 2-cylinder 540cc because in 1990 they changed the regulation from 550cc to 660. So this is compliant to the current laws of 1986. So this is a 2-cylinder, mine has a 3-cylinder. The front end is basically completely different, but it's basically meant to be just a tiny little Civic kind of city car. A lot of people confuse them for the Honda City, which is a completely different car. The Honda City isn't a Kei car, but this is. This one has some tasteful modifications like the 2-spoke OMP steering wheel, Recaro seats that are very period correct. I got the checkerboard mats.
Oh yeah, the mats.
The dash is completely different on these than like mine is. Very tiny cluster. Overall, just a little bit more bare bones, a little bit more basic, a little bit older. Has these very cool Hayashi racing wheels.
Oh yeah.
It's been lowered. These are usually a bit higher off the ground because it's been lowered.
Man, this thing is so cool. And I mean, this entire collection that you see here is so cool. And this is just a portion of the rotating displays that are here at the Lane Motor Museum. If you guys are interested, go over to their website, go check it out. You can buy tickets. They're closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but then they're open the rest of the week during the season. And you can check out all of these cool cars and so much more. Thanks again, you guys, for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below of your favorite car of the bunch that we showed you today and which one you would drive. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Later.